Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Metabolic Mindset. This is episode 3, and I am your host, Nina Olson, registered dietitian, weight management expert, and your go-to resource for all things metabolic health, including metabolism, gut health, and functional nutrition. Today, we're diving into a huge topic in weight loss and your metabolic health. We'll be covering peptides. We're going to talk about the GLP-1s, the GIPs. You've heard all about these. They're all over, the news, the media, Hollywood. They've been the latest thing for the last couple of years. So you should be pretty familiar with some of these peptides by now. If you haven't been, well, I'm excited to tell you more today. Before we get started, I always like to jump into a little disclaimer. This podcast is for informational purposes only. It should not be considered medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or healthcare routines. Let's dive in. So today we're going to cover what are peptides. We're going to talk about what the GLPs, what these GIPs are, and how they work for weight loss, if you're going to have any benefits for metabolism. Maybe you're using them for blood sugar management and regulation. We'll talk about risks, potential side effects, everything you need to consider before diving in. And as always, best ways to optimize your health should you decide to pursue something like this, or if you're already on one of these peptides. All right, so let's dive in. What are peptides? Peptides are short-chain amino acids that act as signaling molecules in the body, influencing metabolism, digestion, and fat storage. Basically, GLP-1s and GIPs are two of the most well-known peptides that regulate insulin, appetite, and energy balance. While these medications are initially developed for diabetes, they've now become more mainstream for weight loss. But is everybody a good candidate? Are there any risks? Let's break it down for you. So GLP-1 is the metabolism master regulator. GLP-1 is a glucagon-like peptide 1, and it's actually derived from a hormone in your gut. What this GLP-1 peptide actually does is it helps to slow gastric emptying, which helps you feel fuller longer. Reduces your appetite by signaling fullness to the brain, and it improves your insulin function, which can help reduce glucose spikes in your blood. This is great for anybody that's, having those significant glucose spikes, or maybe you're a little insulin resistant. And this is what that GLP-1 does. It may also help to reduce inflammation and support cardiovascular health. This is why we see a lot of patients who have metabolic syndrome or who are struggling with autoimmune diseases or different types of inflammatory diseases. They're actually getting improvement through their, weight loss journey because they've decided to go on these for whatever reason. And then we're finding that you're getting all these other metabolic health supports. Scientific evidence is showing that in a recent study from the New England Journal of Medicine found that semaglutide, aka Wegovy, led to an average weight loss of 14.9% over 68 weeks compared to 2.4% in a placebo group. That is incredible. 14.9%. Another study in the diabetes, obesity, and metabolism showed that the GLP-1 receptor agonist improves insulin function and helps protect pancreatic beta cells. Holy cow, you guys. These peptides are really next level. But with all these amazing facts, what are the potential risks? Well, let's dive into risks and potential side effects. So while we're seeing wonderful, great weight loss and improvement in most of our patients, you still should always, always, always consider risks and side effects before starting any sort of medication or any sort of weight loss regimen. You always got to weigh out what it's worth for you. So let's talk about the side effects and the risks that need to be considered before starting these medications. First and foremost, these are very, very common. These are the gastrointestinal side effects. So you'll experience potentially some nausea, vomiting, bloating, diarrhea, especially in those first few weeks. This is very common with people kind of like just getting started on some of these medications. Sometimes severe constipation. If it is really, really severe, it could lead to bowel obstructions in some cases. This is why you need to make sure you are working with a qualified practitioner that's not just handing over the medication. You are getting the lifestyle and dietary support you need to support these changes. Just because you get on the drug doesn't mean the work is done, okay? You need to work on still optimizing your diet, working on better lifestyle habits. These peptide therapies can be very game changing for a lot of my patients. So when people come to me and they're on them, I think it's wonderful. But we need to work on preventing and mitigating any potential side effects with these medications. So through good, proper management, working with either myself or another qualified practitioner who's going to help you optimize your dietary intake, maybe get a little bit more strategic on different types of supplements, really review what your lifestyle looks like, making sure that you're eating quality foods so that we don't have any significant long-term side effects or even these short-term side effects. The big thing, muscle loss and metabolic slowdown, right? You are listening to the Metabolic Mindset. I'm all about all things metabolism and metabolic health. The last thing I want for any of my patients is for their metabolic rate to slow down. And when we talk about metabolic slowdown, we're talking about, that metabolic adaptation when your BMR just slowly starts to decrease. This is a huge concern because muscle mass is key for your long-term metabolic health. And some studies show that up to 40% of weight loss from GLP-1s comes from losing your lean body mass. Guys, this is not okay. If you're in this group and you're losing lean body mass and you're on these GLP-1s, you are doing it wrong. You need to work with a qualified practitioner to help you maintain your lean body mass, okay? It's not just about the scale. You should be checking your body composition. We'll talk about some solutions, but basically you need to make sure that you're prioritizing optimizing your nutrient intake while you're on these medications, and you need to focus on quality lifestyle like strength training. There's other increased risks of potential thyroid or pancreatic issues. In a recent study done on rodents, so not done on humans, but done on rodents, there is a warning for medullary thyroid cancer risks. So it is there, certain medications don't come without risks. And potential thyroid cancers have been reported, cases of pancreatitis, some other potential risks, but main ones are pancreatitis, thyroid cancer, things like that. So you need to be aware of these risks and potential issues. You should always be informed before just jumping into something. So if you're working with a practitioner, they should be telling you about these potential risks and side effects so you can make an informed decision. In a study from the JMA Internal Medicine in 23, we found a higher risk of gallstones and potential gallbladder disease in people using GLP-1 medications. This is a big thing because, we're monitoring fat digestion. We're slowing down the rate at which the food is going through your gut and your intestines. So obviously this is going to influence other areas of your body, including the gallbladder. So we want to make sure that you're not going to, get any of those gallstones or potential gallbladder concerns. So obviously monitor that. And then, of course, psychological risks. You know, this is no big new thing in the health and fitness industry as far as like, you know, all this diet agenda and things like that. Sometimes using medical therapies to help people lose weight can create further disordered eating, can cause mental health concerns. It can disrupt hunger cues. It can lead to restrictive eating patterns. So make sure you're working with somebody that's not continuing to promote disordered eating, but only helping you really support long term metabolic health and mental health. Some users have even reported an increase in anxiety and depression when they're on these medications. Again, this is all, individual case by case. So you need to see what works best for you. And these are just, again, some of those potential risks and side effects. It may or may not happen for you, but working with a good qualified practitioner is going to help you mitigate any of these potential off-putting side effects. So let's talk about some of these peptides, right? So next generation peptides are what we call GIPs or trizipatide. These are glucose-dependent insulin-tropic peptides. They enhance fat metabolism, help you burn more fat more effectively than just the GLP-1s alone. It can actually help support insulin secretion, supporting better blood glucose control, may preserve muscle mass better than GLP-1s. So that is a huge, huge thing. Again, in a recent study, we found that combining the GLP and GIPs, basically what Mounjaro is doing, they're seeing better weight loss and better metabolic outcomes. Some of these common medications you might hear as like Mounjaro, that is your trizipatide. It's a dual agonist it's a dual agonist peptide therapy to support more significant weight loss. And then Zepbound, also same mechanism, and it's approved for weight loss. So where can you get these medications safely? All right. I want all of my patients to get good results, but first and foremost, always be safe. Talk to your doctor first, okay? Make sure you don't have any significant contraindications. Make sure you're a good candidate. Not all sources are safe, you guys. Don't just go online. Don't just go to these online pharmacies flooding the market that are, really low offers, providing possible questionable products and things like that, compounded peptides. You just want to make sure you're getting good quality products. A lot of these places don't go through the same rigorous FDA regulations, meaning that dosage might be inconsistent and purity is not always guaranteed. It's not to say that, a compounding pharmacy isn't doing their due diligence. They can be very, very wonderful and can provide good quality products to patients. You just want to make sure that you're going through a trusted source like a medical provider. You want to make sure you're seeing the MD or a PA, and you're getting those quality evaluations from your provider with prescriptive authority. Okay, so you want to make sure that your PA, NP, or MD is reviewing your medical history. They are, going over all the potential risks and benefits of starting the medication and making sure that this is a good, safe option for you. Always check for professional recommendations. There are plenty of reputable, telemedicine clinics and PAs and NPs out there. I refer my patients out to multiple different practices. If this is something that they're considering, or we'll talk to their doctor with the patient to see what we can do to support that. A lot of these medical clinics will do a full medical screening before you get started. You should definitely get screened before starting any medical prescriptive medication. And you should have somebody looking over your blood work to make sure there's no contraindications or any risk for, potential like hypoglycemia or things like that. Be careful from purchasing from places that offer cheap versions or that are doing research only. Watch out for those, social media groups and things like that. Make sure you're getting it from a qualified medical professional. Okay. So you have started these peptides. Let's talk about how you can optimize them safely on your own. Otherwise, I can't say this enough. Please work with a qualified practitioner. I accept insurance in my practice as of right now, and a lot of my patients pay $0 out of pocket. I also have a course that you can take to optimize your peptide therapy for weight management. So how can you optimize these results? Number one, you want to make sure that you're getting in enough protein. Okay, you got to make sure that you're preventing lean muscle loss. Okay, we want to protect our lean body mass. Start strength training, okay? Don't just be a cardio queen. Get out there and lift weights at least 3 times a week minimally. Want to make sure that you're preventing things like, again, lean body mass loss, keep your bones strong. We want to prevent things like osteoporosis, osteopenia. I know there was a, girl that just went viral not too long ago talking about how she was on semaglutide for over a year and she's young and now she has osteoporosis, osteopenia. You want to make sure that you are strength training, getting enough proper nutrition. That includes all of your macro and micronutrients, enough protein, enough strength training, a nutrient dense diet focused on, different types of, micronutrients that we need to support, ensuring B vitamins, magnesium, electrolytes are all optimal. Hydration is always key. So drinking enough water, ideally a general rule of thumb is drink half your body weight in ounces a day. And then make sure you're checking your body composition, okay? Don't just look at the scale. That doesn't give us the whole picture. All right, so remember, peptides, GLP-1s and GIPs can be amazing, powerful tools, but they are not a magic fix. If you're considering these medications, again, work with a qualified professional, preferably somebody that, is going to check your blood work, that's going to do a full medical exam before getting you started. And then consider working with a dietitian like myself who can optimize your results and maintain that metabolic health. So when you lose the weight, you can keep the weight off. If you have any questions, connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or follow and like here on my podcast and YouTube channel. If you have any questions, reach out for more personalized guidance. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Leave me a review and share this episode with somebody who needs to learn some of these facts about these peptide medications. Thank you guys. Have a great day.